Good evening, everybody, and welcome to That's Good Pasta, our weekly, well, we try to be weekly show about creepy pastas, spooky spaghettis, freaky fettuccinis, rancid rigatoni, and I don't know what else. There's something else out there. With me, as always, is my producer, my tech boy, the scamp of scamps, and his name would be,
Jared.
there you go. Jared, today we have kind of a special episode, honestly. This takes me and Jared back to when we were like 20 years old, maybe 19 years old.
Mm.
And today we are going over kind of the topic in one specific story of the Slender Man, which for
This,
y'all young folk out there, that's an old one. So
this is what started it all.
pretty much this one and Jeff the Killer and the Russian sleep experiment were kind of the big three back then. Um, and this one is Slender Man is real. This is kind of a random one that I picked out. Um, and this is from the one I picked out was from Mr. Creepy Pasta. This video is 12 years old, if that makes you feel old at all, because oh my god, when I saw that date that post date, I was like, oh god. Um, and what's funny about this video too is that it's definitely one of his older ones because it's just stock images of Slenderman. Um, so okay, we're gonna go get a brief summary of the story. It's obviously an internet writer, even though he's typing on a typewriter for some reason. And he's like, I'm trying to go through these stories of the Slender Man and trying to document, uh, what do you call it? Certain findings that I'm finding on the internet and the history of the Slender Man and where he comes from, and why everybody's so afraid of him. And his first one is like an old journal dating back to the 1700s from this German immigrant family. I forgot what they called him. Do you remember what they called him, Jared?
Like,
It's like
I don't
uh,
remember.
I'm trying to find it, but it's like the Derek Robin, something like that is how you say it. Um, but anyways, it's this story of like this family that encountered or specifically these children that encountered a Slender Man type thing with like white eyes and a white face, and they heard uh, what do you call it? Scratching and gnawing outside the window on the wooden window, and apparently they took Lars. Oh God, they took Lars.
Laws!
Lars, no. And then he also does another research about this. Calls it the Southern folklore, like tales, something like that, and talks about this one pioneer family. And this is also before uh, Mr. Creepypasta, I think, found his reading voice because he was trying to do Southern accents, but was like giving no Southern accent.
Pa, there's a slender man over
Yeah.
there.
He's like, Pa, look under yonder there. I'm just like, well, tell me you're a Yankee without telling me you're a
Look,
Yankee.
father. A
Look,
thin
father.
gentleman.
Look thither, father. Um, and basically, like it's the story. It's these two stories of these kids being taken by Slendermen, and just them being uneasy with like the what's it called? What is it, the dusk in the forest. They don't like how things look at that time. And this also hits a chord with the writer because he has kind of a buried memory of going to bed at night, and his bedroom is kind of parallel with the doorway and the hallway. So when he lays down in his
The
bed,
worst.
that is the worst feeling, by the way. My grandma, my abuelita, had a bedroom exactly like that, and it was a long hallway. As soon as he clicks out, she's like, "All right, good night," and went off to her bedroom and shut the door. But I'm like, why does my bedroom have
All
to be like
grandparents have a house like that. And you're
it's
always at the
so
last one.
uh-huh.
And then you have to
It's
pee, and you're like,
nope. I'll hold it till morning because I ain't getting up from this bed.
scream all the way to
He
the
just
bathroom. Ah!
yeah. He remembers there being an entity in the hallway that vaguely resembles Slenderman, but instead of like going toward it, he basically passes out. He's like, I don't remember what it feels like to pass out, but I did. I blacked out. I can't describe the feeling. And then describes the feeling of blacking out. I'm just like,
Just
okay,
like going to sleep.
yeah. Um, and then he basically ends it with saying, if you remember the Slender Man, try to forget. And if you really want to dig further, don't.
I do love when
So
writers are like the indescribable feeling and then describe it.
describe it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so thus ends the Slender Man is real. Now, one second, sorry. The original link for this is deleted. I can't find the story. And I don't know who wrote it, but honestly, that kind of fits in with
Slender Man
uh
wrote it.
Slenderman. Yeah, because okay, we're gonna go into like personal territory with me and Jared here. So this is like one of the first internet like horror stories. Me and him kind of we didn't become obsessed with it. We just like it really caught our attention for a brief moment in time.
I pan my camera
Um,
over here and there's like black
yeah,
drawings.
it's like all the walls
Yeah.
like in charcoal. Um, this one was kind of just it kind of just took us like I don't know. It's just kind of fascinating because nobody would confirm if it was real or not because it was those old school um, internet images that were doctored into old photos. And it's kind of the problem with Slenderman is nobody can really claim that they invented him because everything that was like the first to come out with Slenderman was altered media images already. So it
Yeah.
was kind of it, and honestly, like the whole thing is basically kind of a what's in the distance in a forest photo that you can kind of make out through branches type stuff. And then yeah, the other one with that really famous one of Slenderman in the park with those kids underneath the tree.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, this kind of took the world by storm for a good year or so, in around 2011, 2012. Um, then they had like that video game that became super popular.
That's what really kicked it
PewDiePie.
off.
Yeah, that's where PewDiePie got like his major start with Slenderman playthroughs. Um, and then me and Jared, like, I remember us sitting down one night and just going through like weird YouTube videos of Slenderman and like sightings of Slenderman. And we came across this one video. I couldn't find it, but there's one YouTube documentary back in 2011, by the way. So they were not high quality videos of this like Irish, it was like a good 30-40 minute long video of like this Irish guy who goes through like the folklore of Slenderman, and
It's
but every time he's
it's rich, deep lore, Thomas. It's rich,
you about
deep.
called me Carlos. um, but yeah, and I remember distinctly like me and him watching it because every time he would say Slenderman, he'd say it with his very distinct accent, Slenderman, Slenderman. And so whenever me and Jared talk about Slenderman, we always like, hey Jared, you know Slenderman? He's like, yeah, I know Slenderman. Um,
I remember
we all,
like the old videos and stuff, and like then learning about how it started with those pictures. Did you ever watch Marble Hornets? Because that
that's
was
it.
one of the
That's the
first
thing.
ones.
He also mentions that in the video too, in the story. And the story ends up with like, I don't want to be some teenager that's hopped up on Monster late at night and played Marble Hornets and wrote down this and almost like, oh my god, this is prime creepy pasta right here. This is off of a Tumblr post, Jared, and I love it. Um, I did see some of those drawings like from Marble Hornets, and I remember the doctored photos of the cave paintings of Slender Man. I'm just like, why does he have a suit on if this is in the like Neolithic era? But whatever. Um,
Where do you think suits came from, Thomas?
Slender Man, and of course you had that whole. And it's kind of sad the Slender Man killings. I don't remember those, uh, but those girls that killed another girl because they said Slender Man made them do it.
Oh, she survived.
Uh, did she survive?
Yeah, she took like 17 stabs, but she still survived. And
Holy
then
crap!
both of the girls are in a psych ward. And one, I think, from what I heard, was one gets out like next year or close to it.
Oh, Lord. Well, we'll be on the lookout for somebody then. Don't watch
Every
this podcast.
It
please.
reminded me of like when Death Note was popular and kids were writing in their Death Notes at school.
um,
Johnny's a poopy head.
but I also okay. There are two distinct memories of me and Jared specifically that we have, or at least I have, of Slenderman. Like our Slenderman lore. Good pasta, or that's good pasta's Slenderman lore.
When we went to go
Um,
look for him,
yeah. So me and Jared went up to my family's like cabin in New Mexico for it was like a little over a week, right? It
yeah,
was a
it
while.
was a week or a little bit
Yeah.
more.
And you know, me and him just hang out, walked around. It's super nice. It's right next to the national forest up there. And I remember distinctly us like because we just like kind of got into Slender Man and we decided to like go walking around
Didn't
and
we
we kept
watch
finding
that
these
documentary like the night before or like?
the night before, yeah, we're just like and where we're at is like in the forest. Like there is nothing around us. And I remember me and him walking through the forest and we kept finding these pages and I'm just like, Jared, run.
Hmm. Well, when we were driving up, there was we would see like posts, and there would be like a page on there. I was like, oh, that's different. And then we saw
That
like two
wasn't
of
here.
them.
Yeah. Well, because this is also the second time that we went up. Because the first time we went up with some friends,
Yeah,
and I remember just like driving past those trees. I'm like, Jared, that paper wasn't there before.
yeah.
So it was just kind of creepy. And I have the other one, and I know you know the other one, but do you want to tell it?
Oh, the one where we were driving with Johnny.
Yeah,
So we were driving back from something, probably to eat or something, back to our
yeah.
apartment. And in my head, in my perspective, I saw something in the corner of my eye, and I was like, I swear to God, that's Slender Man. But I let it go because I was like, that was weird. And then like 10 seconds later, Johnny's like, did you see something over there? And then Thomas was like, I saw it too. I was just, and
So
I swear it looked exactly like Slender Man.
when we were driving, I think it was a post of some kind, like some like telephone post. I think the thing is, like, all of us pretty much reacted like dominoes. Like, Jared reacted. I could tell he was reacting to something. I was like, what is that? And then Johnny goes, huh? And I go, literally, as we're driving by, because, like, all of us, we swear to God, we saw Slender Man. And none of us talked about it before. This was just random, like a
Yeah.
random encounter. We weren't talking about Slender Man. We didn't, like, discuss it, like, in the car, nothing. But all of us were like, was that Slender Man? Like, what was that? And they're like, I think it was a telephone post. So I'm just like, out of here, and just drove way faster. But it was one of the more like terrifying moments of my life
It was
because
odd.
every single one of us had the exact same reaction independently.
Hmm.
Like we weren't reacting to each other. We weren't pointing it out either because we were all afraid. Like, am I actually seeing that right now or what?
And we weren't talking about it before. It was just, it
Mm-mm.
happened.
All of us saw the same thing. Like, it was so random, and I've never been able to fully explain that either, which I think is kind of fun. So that Slenderman's just it's a fun IP to look at, and this is one of like hundreds of videos you can watch on YouTube. I mean, there are just the amount of media on Slenderman is just crazy.
Hmm.
I don't even know how well we're gonna do in the traction with this one because I mean, a Slenderman video on YouTube. I mean, okay, good luck, man. So
It is our generation's campfire story.
pretty much, yeah. I find that that's kind of what creepypastas are for people of our age, like the early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah.
This is kind of instead of reading Goosebumps, we watch creepypastas, read creepypastas on the
I
internet.
think it got big because you had all like the creepypasta videos, but then you also had that game that like everyone played. So everyone
Yeah,
was exposed to Slender Man at one point.
and I played it too. Like
Mm.
it was everywhere, and so I don't watch that movie. The movie's terrible, by the way.
Have you
And
ever
then
seen
yeah,
it?
Red Letter Media had their own like encounter with Slender Man, which is a great video if you haven't watched it. Jared, if you can do me a favor,
Hmm.
uh, cut to PewDiePie freaking out right now,
Not Markiplier?
or that too. Okay, okay, cut back from that and Markiplier. Anyway, so everybody has reacted to this. Everybody has seen this. Even if you aren't familiar with it, you kind of know they're talking about.
And it was
So,
really some special in his story because it wasn't as well known. So you're kind of like,
mm-mm.
is
Is
there a
that real?
Slender Man?
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing is that everybody was like, uh, was
And
talking about the folklore of it and the history of Slenderman. No, he's been around for ages. What are you talking about?
and then our friend
And then,
Pope walks in, and you're like, oh.
yeah, I know, Mr. Gangly himself. Um, but that's the thing too is that you would always like ask somebody like, that stuff in the woods that you kind of see, but you can't really see it, and you swear there's somebody out there, but you can't really see them. And it's a lot of fun just to go through these. Like I had a blast like just going through some of these. I can't give you specific names because there's just hundreds of them, but
Maybe
literally just look up YouTube Slenderman videos and you'll find a plethora of them.
if we get a lot of subscribers from this and views, we'll watch the movie. And we'll tell you what we think about that movie.
I will say thank you for all the additional subscribers. By the way, we've gotten a big uptick since we've started, and I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
Especially all the views on this video series, and that's good stuff, and that's bonus stuff, and I don't know how many other series Joe and you have right now, but thank you all. I
Hmm.
appreciate it. I don't know why my voice broke there. Going through puberty again.
And then we have a whole
Yeah,
channel if you want to hear about some weird stuff called That's Weird Stuff, where you can see Michael and Joseph try to talk about creepy things and them not
it never
knowing
goes.
anything
It never
about
goes well. Well, because
internet
Joe
creepiness.
Joe will always come up with like, "Have you guys heard of this?" And me and Jared will be like, "Yeah," and
It's been on the internet since the dawn of time.
yeah. But yeah, Jared, you got anything else for this one?
No, not for this one. Maybe we can revisit some Slender Man material in the future,
It'll be
and
fun.
hopefully, we'll have more stories from our real life encounters of the Slender Man. Behind you, Thomas! Oh God!
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I think that's gonna be it for That's Good Pasta for today. So yeah, like and subscribe and stay creepy out there, everybody. Bye.